Okay, yeah, NickDutch here yet again. I just want to, I suppose, cover something that's been going on inside my mind. This is not really just talking about the occult. This is more talking about me, talking more about my stance and more about where I'm coming from. I mean, apart from the fact that, I am an occultist, I am a tarot reader. If I was to go into some varieties of church and tell people what I do for a living, they wouldn't necessarily treat me nicely. I've done psychic fairs when I was young, and I had people screaming at me, "Go home, gypsy!" and "Get away from me! Get thee behind me, Satan!" That was a fun one. I like that. There's all kinds of... all I am, right, is a guy who's just trying to help people. And I'm doing it for a living, alright? It's a very cheap service. If you're calling a counsellor, I reckon I'm actually better skilled than the counsellor. But if you were to use a counsellor, right, it could cost you, $60. And it might just leave you with, it'll definitely have given you a moment to think, but it won't necessarily given you a moment to reflect properly and to try and get some clarity. And that's essentially what I'm trying to do, So, in my work, I know I can't help everyone, alright? But in my work, if there's just like one person a day, just say one of my clients a day, that I can give some real benefit to, that my day's been worthwhile, and that just really makes it for me, And I'm thinking about the work I'm doing with like my writing, with the work I'm doing on YouTube, and like the main message here is it's predominantly about personal freedom. You can be whatever religion you want to be. You can be a complete agnostic or an atheist if you want to be. If you are watching these videos, you have probably at some time had some religious nutter beating the shit into you religiously. When I was 4 years old, I had like about 10 of these guys crowding around me, commanding me to go out in rags and preach the gospel when I was a fucking 4-year-old child. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, maybe, a lot of people do get involved in the occult because they're screwed up. And a lot of them get involved more in New Age religions or New Age ways or this, that, and the other, and get even more screwed up. And that's just plain wrong. Now, if you're listening to my message, which is saying, put the power back in your hand, put the control back in your hands, you don't have to believe stuff. You really don't. I believe fuck all, and it's great, if someone says, you must believe this, you must follow my deity, and all that bollocks, it's just like, go to hell. I don't need you around because you're a lying, cheating, stealing motherfucking bastard. Yeah. And if you yourself out there have had that shit happen to you, just raise the middle finger at them because they are evil. They have like character defects, they have flaws which makes them think that they're right all the time. They're not right. They are mad, and they think it's a good idea to go around scaring the shit out of people, filling people full of fear and dread, and just psychologically tearing them to shreds. And that's just in the orthodox religions, let alone the New Age ones, which is even less regimented. So, fuck it all, just simply fuck it all, Yeah, I've had wonderful experiences being an occultist, but also even some times when I've actually been to, like a Christian church where I had the Toronto blessing, I felt this wonderful stuff flowing around the room, like electricity and like moving like a fluid, and it does make your arms shake, and like, wow, when I received the blessing, it felt like my head was erupting with flames. That was great. And I can make that happen to myself again, but I don't have to be a Christian because, if God exists, He's got to be a concept above everything else, absolutely above and beyond everything else. That's why if you're reading the word God in Hebrew, you don't actually say the word. You can't say the word. It's, because you're not allowed to. That's why you say the Lord instead. Because it's wrong to say the word for God. Now, that implies to me that, when we're using language, we're communicating concepts. If you can't utter the word, then this concept is above human conceptualization. Therefore, even calling a god God is probably blasphemy. And, like, the word devil actually just means a lesser divine being. So if you would use the word God, that would be a lesser divine being, which would be a devil. And that's just using, just look it up, go to Wikipedia, okay? Go to dictionary.com and just look up these words and find out what they mean, alright? And that means that Jesus is definitely a devil. If you follow language, of course. If you want to make up the meanings of words as you go along, then nothing matters. You might as well sit there and go wug lug 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 lug, but believe what I tell you. What the fuck? I do just hope that if someone's watching these videos, and because I have a message here, and the message is you don't have to believe shit. You can be completely free. This superior thing which everyone has blasphemously called God probably doesn't give a shit what name you call him by. Him, her, it, whatever. So, if he is above everything, does he mind if you call him Allah? No. Does he mind if you call him Jesus? No. Does he mind if you call him fucking Fred Flintstone? Probably not. Because religion by its very nature is anthropomorphized and therefore made more simple for people. So the idea of a personal God, namely a being that you have a conversation with, probably can't be right. So if you are having a conversation with a being like that on a one-to-one basis, you could probably say that that's maybe even an angelic being or a spirit or a ghost maybe. But it can't be the one true God. You just play around with the ideas, no matter what. If you're watching my videos, you've either got something wrong with you or someone has been putting stupid ideas in your head, alright, and you need to have that extra clarity which I'm giving you. And if I'm doing that, if I'm giving you that moment of just complete freedom of thinking I don't have to believe what that fucker told me, I just don't have to, then I'm doing my job. Then that will make me feel proud, that will make me feel glad. If I can give you the courage to be able to do some written exercises and tear some of your beliefs to shreds, and just try and reanalyze them all to the point of throwing them all away, just getting rid of beliefs full stop, and then trying to build yourself up through understanding logic, understanding reasoning, and also doing it in a way which is believable. And if you find that too scary, then yes, temporarily take in a higher power which you can use to make yourself feel okay. That could be much better than just being, I think the analogy is being shaped by a cookie cutter that someone else has made. I'm not saying you should be a complete anarchist, because society has laws, and the only people who are completely and utterly individuals are those who are locked up in mental asylums or prisons. And you don't want to be locked up in mental asylums or prisons. You have to learn the laws of society so you can abide by them. You dress up nicely when you go out, because that's called survival. Alright? You go to work, that's called survival. You pay your creditors off on a regular basis, that's called survival. To be a complete and utter individual, you wouldn't do any of those things. You'd probably end up hurting someone and you would get locked up. Rather like that twisted dark magician I spoke of in a previous video. Just relax. Get your freedom. Enjoy it. Be a magician, because you probably are one anyway. And just do it more so you can get some real experiences. And just have a laugh. If I can do that for you, if I can set you free, then again, I've done my job. And my life has been worthwhile. God bless. Or whoever. Whoever bless. Keep the faith. Okay? Whatever. Fuck it.